All right, so today is our first, this is going to be kind of the first substantial lecture here, of substance. And as you can see, we have a guest lecturer here. This is my tiny little cat named The Small. She's very tiny, she's very small. That's how big she is. And the reason why I wanted to give her a little cameo is because today we're going to kind of talk about animal ethics. And we're going to talk about the nature of our relationship and if we have a duty to animals. And if so, what is that duty? Is it permissible to eat animals, or should we adopt a vegetarian or vegan type diet? Okay? And so those are some of the questions that we're going to engage with. And I'm going to kind of work through two articles in your book and kind of unpack maybe some ways of considering or thinking about animals. So again, just to kind of get us all, in the animal spirit here. This is my little tiger queen. Ha! Okay. All right. So in that, and kind of like thinking about, what we're going to discuss here are more serious questions, right? And I know that I just kind of like had those in passing of thinking about, is it ethical to eat meat, right? What are the ethics, if any, of hunting, right? And I know, talking to a bunch of people that live in Idaho, where hunting is a celebrated sport, it's a celebrated activity, it's a celebrated means towards sustenance, right? But there's a lot of questions worth asking there, okay? And so with these articles, and with kind of this topic, I really do want to kind of consider, one's relationship to non-human animals. And if we have a duty to them, if we have a responsibility to them, since they aren't human, can we treat them however we want, right? For our own ends, for our own means. If I see an animal and I'm hungry, just by virtue of being a human being, does that mean that I'm able to kill that animal to feed me, right? There's a lot of kind of interesting questions that you can start asking about one's treatment towards animals, okay? And so in the next video, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about Immanuel Kant, actually, and our old friend Immanuel Kant, and kind of his response to our duties towards animals. And then, and I think probably one or two videos, we'll visit a pretty passionate animal rights activist named Peter Singer. He's a utilitarian, and he will give us an outlook on how to think about and consider our treatment towards animals. So, and I'm sure that many of us, if not all of us, in some capacity or another, were raised with domesticated pets, right? Cats, dogs. Maybe some of you grew up ranching or farming, and so you've got maybe a different kind of approach with animals, or maybe you've got more of kind of an experience with animals. And so it really does kind of allow us these conversations. And it's always, again, too bad that we're not having this in a live version of the class, because with all of our backgrounds, I'm sure that all of us bring a diverse kind of perspective to this overall question. Okay? And if some of these, actually this is kind of a little bit of a plug, but if any of these questions interest you this week, and just kind of ways of thinking about our engagement with the non-human world, I would encourage you to enroll in my Belief in Reality class for the fall, where we kind of start by talking about some of this stuff, but it kind of goes quite a bit deeper here too. But anyway, that's something for you to consider on your own time. But in the next video, we're going to dive into Kant's discussion on our duties towards animals.